Hi, I'm Maya and welcome back to Travelin Young.
And today we're going to talk about Christmas.
We're super excited and we took the chance to travel to a couple different places in Denmark and we wanted to show you what we experienced there.
So that we can better understand how the Danes celebrate Christmas compared to what we do back in the US.
I am very excited to still talk about our Christmas traditions and things that I've been doing while at the school, while they've been out traveling. And I'm excited to share with you.
I'm Joshua.
Hi, I'm Miranda.
Hi, I'm Maya.
We're the Youngs.
We've spent our lives traveling the world.
And in 2018, we moved from
Chicago, Illinois to
Copenhagen, Denmark.
Now we want to share with you
how our new lives abroad
is keeping us young.
Keeping us young.
Are helping to keep us young. So I've been sitting here editing this video and I felt like something just wasn't there. Something was missing. We'd had originally planned to do a whole bunch of really cool things that just had to get canceled because of everything related to the pandemic. Some of the stuff we got to do, of course, and you've seen it over the past few weeks, but that's just a fraction of what the original idea was. And so the story of this video just slowly disappeared as more and more things had to drop off the calendar. So I was editing and realized that we just didn't have exactly what I wanted. So last night I decided to sit and write a poem. It's a super cheesy, 'twas the night before Christmas type of story that goes chapter by chapter through all the things that we wanted to show, and some of which we can still, of course, because we got to do, and some of which we caught us recorded talking in front of the tree, talking about our experiences. So I hope this is still enjoyable. It's not exactly what I had planned it to be, but if you can stick with us here, we've got a few chapters talking and showing what our Travelin Young Christmas has been in 2020, despite all the things that have been introduced to us this year. So please enjoy, and we're going to start with chapter number 1, Julebryg. 2020 'twas a year that introduced challenges abound. COVID kept us from J-Day as beer couldn't easily be found. The Christmas season must begin joyfully with Julebryg in hand. So we visited breweries and tested beer from all over this land. Christmas in Denmark is full of traditions, and one of the most important one is beer. Julebryg, the Christmas brew that every brewery in Denmark creates, a little bit different everywhere. And so today we came to Julebryg Brewhus here in just outside of Roskilde in Denmark in order to try some Christmas brew. And we brought one of our good friends from Denmark along who's going to talk to us about the history of J-Day and everything related to Christmas brew in Denmark, because Christmas is about tradition and beer is often where it starts, the beginning of the Christmas season. So let's go try some beers here in Julebryg. I'm sure I said it wrong. Maybe I said it right the first time. Brew house here in Denmark.
Hi, this is Miranda. So we're here at Julebryg Brewhus, and I am here with our good friend Thomas, who we've known for many years, and he's going to tell us a little bit about J-Day. Now, Thomas was actually the person who took me on my first J-Day experience the first year we moved, and J-Day is quite an interesting thing that you do here in Denmark, and it's like huge thing in Copenhagen. So tell us a little bit about J-Day and
Sure.
what happens.
Well, it's actually not a very old tradition. It's from the late 80s or beginning of the 90s, I think.
Yeah,
but,
which I thought it was much older. But
no,
then you
it's
said
not.
it wasn't that old.
But it probably has roots in something much older, I would imagine. I mean, I think they did it because they wanted to kind of replicate the wine entry to the markets when in France. So they're doing a similar thing in Denmark. So with the beer. But J-Day really is it's a fun tradition. I grew up with when I was younger, and that was the day when the Christmas brew is being launched. So the whole city just went crazy.
And it's crazy because somebody had told me Tuborg is the brewery that started this. And they go around in these trucks and they basically drive around the streets of Copenhagen, and they'll stop periodically and open up the back of the truck, and they literally just hand beer out the back of the truck.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is crazy. That can't be true. And then you took me around on J-Day for the first time. And sure enough, we finally caught one of the trucks, and there were people everywhere. I mean, everybody was dressed up, just
loud music,
decked to the nines, and like Christmas stuff. People had on ugly Christmas Christmas sweaters, and there was loud music everywhere, and they just opened it up, and like everybody started grabbing beers, and people were walking away, and they had like so many beers.
They're all wearing like these blue julenisse-huer, or whatever you would call it. I don't know what you call that in English, but they're all wearing like these hats.
The Nisse hats.
Yeah, Nisse hats, where it says God jule, God Tuborg on it, which actually is a kind of an expression of the Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I think it's a good tradition that they launch all these beers, Christmas beers every year. There's always new beers coming up now, and people are usually going out and buying them, and so I think it's a very good tradition.
Yeah, and I think it's something fun to try, like because there's so many different ones, and like even Jacobsen has their own Christmas brews, their own new brews, and then
Christmas beer.
You've got
Xmas beer.
As well. And so it's fun to come out. If you like beer, it's fun because there are so many to try and get out, and it's kind of something fun. If you can do it this year, socially distancing,
And J Day is every first Friday every year in November. So every first Friday in November, that's J Day. So,
and it's different from the U.S. because they obviously don't have Thanksgiving, so there's nothing stopping them from kicking off Christmas season, and why not do it with a beer?
Why not do it with a beer? We're in Denmark, right?
Right?
Cheers.
So, skål.
Skål.
With this wonderful quadrant. This is a magic beer battle quadrant, and so the thought is that you and I, will measure the beers in terms of how Christmassy it is, and how great of a beer it is. And then we'll do the averages, and then stick some stickers on the board afterwards.
And fill out the magic quadrants. I feel like after a few, my ability to even
So I'm a little, because maybe I'm a little biased because I like ale.
Well, this isn't it anymore.
Sorry.
Exactly. It's got Spanike and other Julebrygs in there.
We also got a saying here where we say det bare ude på Lars Tønskids marker, which means translated directly. It's the field of Lars's diarrhea. Where does that leave us with the Homer Award?
Well, I mean, I guess factoring everything, and if we think about magic quadrants in general, then I would absolutely think that this guy is the winner of the day.
Skållyst.
Skållyst, yeah. Would you agree?
Yeah. Can you grab the bottle
so
we can put the tag on it?
It's hiding right here.
Woohoo! Yes.
This should be served in Moe's Tavern.
I think so, in Denmark at least. And I think that even Homer would drink it, probably.
Chapter 2, The Christmas Tree. For Americans who celebrate, we move from Thanksgiving to Yule. Our trees are assembled, for they are all fake, but still cool. Ornaments are adorned with many stories to disclose. The reminders and memories fill the lights with a glow.
Here we are in the war zone. I've just finished putting up my Christmas tree. We had a slight lighting emergency in that the lights that I bought from Harald Nyborg the other day didn't come with an adapter, but thankfully I still had some US lights in a box, so I was able to plug those in to an adapter. And now I'm gonna put these cute little Danish lights on with little candle lights, and then we'll get some ornaments on it. And Maya, what do you think?
I'm pretty excited to see the tree.
So we'll check in a little bit later when we've got more lighting and maybe some more ornaments.
My most favorite part of Christmas, after getting gifts, I'm looking at Josh. My most favorite part of Christmas is actually my Christmas trees. Josh swears we have 7,000 trees. We don't, we only have 2. We have mall tree, which is this one, which looks very fancy and like it belongs in a magazine, and that's how I like it. And I'm very picky about how this tree looks. It's always kind of this red, silver, and gold, so I have all the matching ornaments. And then we have fun tree, which is in the kitchen, and that's the tree that has all of the just kind of ridiculous ornaments. Like we have a SpongeBob ornament, and I have guitars from the Wild Horse Saloon in Nashville, and like Texas state ornaments, and just all these different kinds of ones that don't really kind of fit on the mall tree. But I live for decorating this tree every year, and one of my most favorite memories is the day after Thanksgiving. We would always put our tree up, and I just loved opening up the box of German ornaments because my parents were in the military and I was actually born in Landstuhl, Germany. And we had all of these little wood ornaments when I was growing up, and I absolutely loved them. And I harassed Josh until we went to Germany one year, and I bought so many little German ornaments, like these little guys, and I have some down here, and those are some of my favorites. And also, I always loved, we had these crazy lights on the tree when I was a kid. They were called bubble lights, and they were like glass tubes that had colored oil or water in them. A terrible safety hazard, and they don't sell them anymore. But I actually this year bought the very Danish looking candle lights that are on this tree, specifically because they reminded me of the bubble lights that used to be on the tree when I was a kid. And so I just have a lot of little touches on this tree that really remind me of my childhood. So I love looking at this tree.
I know how much that Miranda likes Christmas ornaments. And so last year, I have a friend in Texas. Actually, just a loose acquaintance, let's say. And on Instagram, she had a picture of a Dolly Parton Christmas ornament, which is over, where is it? Right there? Right there. I think it's right there. And I saw this on Instagram in a story, and I'm like, I need to get this from Miranda. She loves Dolly Parton. She goes to Dollywood all the time. And so I asked my friend, and she bought it, and I sent her some money on Venmo. And thankfully, I was in the U.S. for some work trip. And she sent it to my hotel, I think maybe, or to my parents' house. I can't remember where. But she sent it to me from Texas to wherever I was in the U.S. After she bought it, so I could bring it back. And Miranda would then have a wonderful Dolly Parton Islands in the Stream, I guess, if Kenny Rogers was there too. Maybe we need to get that next year. And they could sing to each other on the tree. That'd be fantastic. But yeah, that's part of Christmas, is these ornaments that Miranda wants to have all over the tree. And it doesn't seem like a complete tree if you don't have Dolly Parton somewhere. Right? That's my thought.
One of the differences between American trees and Danish trees is, of course, the fact that the Danes, you guys on Christmas Eve, dance around your tree in a circle. We do not do that. So our tree is in the corner where it belongs by our standards. But it's always fun to kind of have it in the corner, and then you have all the gifts coming out, because I think that's a difference as well, is that we kind of have our gifts out all throughout Christmas. As you kind of get a gift, you put it under the tree, and so it's there. So
Chapter 3, Julefrokost. While in Denmark we adopt traditions from our new home, this includes herring, flæskesteg, and risalamande. We tried them all, but to be honest, our favorite remains æbleskiver and gluk, going straight into our veins.
At the school, we've been doing a lot of Christmas stuff, like eating a lot of Christmas foods. We've had risalamande and risengel, and we had æbleskiver a few times, and it's so nice. One day at the school we played Christmas bingo and we all had æbleskiver together. It was so nice.
Hi, so one of the best parts about Christmas in Denmark is, of course, all of the food that you get. And when you go out to some of the markets, you have to get these æbleskiver, which are kind of these apple donuts, and they're always served with some powdered sugar and some jam. And you can just kind of dip them in the powdered sugar a little bit, get a little bit of jam, and take a bite. And they're so good. I could eat 800 of these. They're at every market. And it's always best to have them with a nice cup of hot glügg. which is like a mulled wine that you always get at the markets as well. So we're gonna kind of chow down on these and enjoy our snack.
This year at my after school we had a Christmas lunch, but I wasn't there. But I've had a Christmas lunch during previous years at school. But my parents actually went to a full-on Christmas lunch this year, so I'm pretty excited that the tables have turned this year and they've gotten to experience it.
We're gonna go.
I said I'd try everything. So this is herring. It's just, I'm gonna just try a piece of it. And there's some curry sauce on top of it. And unlike Miranda, I'm gonna be Danish and eat it with a knife and a fork.
Oh, that's right. I ate it wrong.
And it's, so we're assembling our own smorgasbord stuff here. And I'm not, and then, yeah, I've already had schnapps, so that'll help.
Liquid encouragement.
I'm like super nervous.
Go for it. Do it.
I wouldn't classify it as bad.
Okay.
I also wouldn't call it good.
So this is Julebryg with butter and leverpostei and bacon, and I'm gonna try it. So. Not terrible. Actually pretty good. I kind of like that.
Chapter 4, Visiting Cities and Lights. The best part of Christmas are the lights through the towns, markets, shopping, and the people enjoying what they've found. It is sad this year couldn't offer what other years do, but we made the most of what we could. I hope the same is true for you.
For the past couple weekends, Josh and I have been traveling around Denmark safely before all the COVID regulations.
We got to Aarhus, we got to Kolding, we got to Ærø, we also got to Kronborg Slot. So I want to show you some of the highlights because that was super cool and it helped get us excited about the season.
See the different decorations because we love traveling around and experiencing the different ways the cities decorate and get ready for Christmas.
So we'd like to show you what Christmas is like in different parts of Denmark.
I think he's supposed to be holding something.
I'm not sure what's happening here. He looks like he's riding into battle for Christmas.
But he's the reindeer's just sitting.
The reindeer looks like he's got about 2 brain cells to rub together.
Yeah.
Comes down a chimney in the middle of the night and delivers gifts.
Yeah.
Is that the same way that gifts get delivered to the children here in Denmark, or how does Santa come here in Denmark?
When we come here in Denmark, it's the 24th.
Ah, yes.
At the evening, and we give a lot of presents. Me and the small red guys. Yeah, nisserne in Denmark. So that's the way how it's done here in Denmark and Sweden and Norway and also Finland. So, but I know it's a little bit different when I go around in the States.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I can manage everything because one day here and one day in the States. You know? That's it. That's nice.
There it is.
And if you see Kronborg here, all the big fireplaces, they are made from my size. Because I've known the young king from he was this big, and then when he started building the castle, he said, "Oh, we need an exit for you."
Yeah.
And if you see here, if you go over here, come here. It's also almost correct.
Chapter 5, Art Traditions. For us, Christmas has meant many things through the years. As kids to adults, we'd always ensure there was good cheer. Traveling the globe for Maya to see how other folks observe. Despite living in Denmark, our past we still preserve.
I grew up devoutly Lutheran, so we went to church a whole lot. We were at church all the time, and Christmas was a really, really important time to be at church. We always went for the 3 weeks before of Advent, and then of course Christmas week was really big, and we would always go to the candlelight service on Christmas Eve, and it was such a big deal. We would all get dressed up in our absolute best Christmas clothes. Usually I would get a new dress, my brothers would get new clothes. And before the church service, we were allowed to open one gift, and that was all we were allowed to open. And it was always such a big deal, you know, like which gift are you gonna open up? Because that was like kind of your only taste for that night. And sometimes I would open up my biggest gift because I just wanted to see what was underneath all that wrapping paper. But sometimes I would just go for the smaller ones to get it done so that we could go to church. But I remember that being such a nice memory of opening up that one gift on Christmas Eve.
When I was a kid though, Christmas was a time that we'd always spend with my parents and my brother and my sister at home. We never really traveled. We always went to visit my grandparents in New Jersey over New Year's, but Christmas we'd always stay. And I always thought that was cool because I'd basically get 2 Christmases. I'd get a whole bunch of gifts on Christmas, and then I'd get a bunch more gifts at New Year's when we went up to New Jersey. But we'd always celebrate it at home, and for a while we had a fake tree, and then at some point, I think it was after Christmas Vacation, the movie came out, my dad decided he wanted to go chop down trees every year because that's what they did in the movie. He wanted to be a real-life Clark Griswold. So we'd go out to the mountains in Virginia, to a Christmas tree farm and chop down a Christmas tree and bring it home. And of course, just like in Christmas Vacation, it was either too tall or too wide or something wasn't completely right for the space, but we'd always do it and make the most of it. And that was something that we did through all the times I was home. And I remember doing that so much as a kid.
For as long as I can remember, we've been on vacation during Christmas. There's only like a handful of times I think we've been like home or like with other families or with our family. And so we're always somewhere, and it's always really interesting to experience Christmas in other countries and see how they celebrate it. I think I've been to about 1 million Christmas markets at this point in my life, but it's always very nice to see how the different countries set them up and everything.
One of the things that's a little bit unusual for our small family, between myself, Josh, and Maya, is that between Christmas and New Year's, we would always travel. That was really our time to ourselves. Josh traveled a lot for work, and that was one of the few times of year that we really felt was kind of sacred for us. And so we took that week and we traveled to different places. We've been to Spain, we've been to Croatia, I think Tunisia, just all these places around the world. And it's so interesting to see not only how they celebrate Christmas, because they're kind of finishing up those holidays, but also how they celebrate New Year's. And it's been just such a joy to experience that in so many different places.
Some of the traditions that we have as a family aren't even necessarily American traditions. Like my favorite thing at Christmas is nougat, and that came from tons of trips to France. One time we were in Colmar, which is really far south, but also almost on the border to Germany and Switzerland and close to Basel. And in Colmar, we were in this Airbnb, and you came outside and there was this guy selling massive things of nougat. And he had this big saw that he'd saw off like a big, basically pie piece from this big round thing of nougat. And I'd always be like a little bigger, and I'd get way more than I needed. And I'd be like, wow, that was how much? €100, whatever. I mean, it was crazy because I didn't really know how much it would be, but I just got really into nougat. And last year we went down to Nice and Avignon and went up to nougat country, and actually where it comes from. And this year I couldn't get nougat at markets. They even have nougat usually in the market in Kongens Nytorv, but this wasn't open this year. So I ordered nougat online from the place that we went to last year in Nougat Land in southern France, so that I could still get some nougat. That's my favorite part of Christmas since we've been traveling around and kind of adopting new things for us.
Some other things that we do here at home is that we always have our Christmas mustache gift, which this is a story that I wrote in 2nd grade, so I was 9, I think. And the story is, I created this, fully know that it's not real, but the story is that Santa was trimming his beard one day and some of his hairs fell in some Christmas magic on the floor, and then it became the Christmas mustache. And the Christmas mustache lived in the North Pole with Santa and would help him with things. And then one day the Christmas mustache wanted to help Santa deliver gifts, and Santa was like, no. And so the Christmas mustache grabbed some extra gifts and extra wrapping paper, but there was only gold wrapping paper left. And since there weren't many gifts left, he could only deliver 1 gift to every kid. So every year I get 1 gift wrapped in gold wrapping paper, and it's like the most special gift under the tree every year. So I always really look forward to opening it up because I know it's the most special one, even though I do know it was not delivered to me by a mustache, but it still makes it special.
I love the story of the Christmas mustache. This is totally Maya's idea. She came up with it. She wrote the story. I thought it was just the cutest story I had ever heard. And I really wanted to bring it to life. And so the first year I put a gift out and I was like, this is from the Christmas mustache. And she just loves her story, and so I'm so happy to be able to give her a Christmas mustache gift every year to kind of keep that going.
Chapter 6, The End. As we close this Christmas video, we wish everyone the best. We know this year has been difficult, definitely not like the rest. But the days are getting longer and sunlight will shine through. Travelin Young says Merry Christmas and season greetings to you.
Thank you for watching the video, and I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday, wonderful Christmas, whatever you're celebrating. I hope you have a wonderful time, and thank you so much for watching, and like and subscribe. Bye!
So first of all, I hope you like my fire. I wanted to set that up. It took a while.